So now I'm going to talk to you about how to organize each individual point in your speech. Now there's going to be a more complex way to do those things later, and you may have heard of this with slightly different terminology, but they're basically three different parts of each idea, of each argument, of each reason, of each point. Each part of each, whatever concept you want to explain to people, you should break it down into three important parts. The first part is a name. Whatever the concept is that you want to explain to people, give it a short name by which they can refer to it, by which they can remember it. Then the explanation. So this is logically explaining, reasoning, describing that concept, explaining to them why it's important, why it's good, or just giving them background information about that idea, right? The third one is evidence, some kind of proof to show that that idea is real, it works, it's something that people can believe. Okay, now these are why these things are important. A name helps people remember your idea. You may have a powerful idea and it may inspire me, but it's going to be very difficult for me to act upon it if I can't remember it. People like to map things into a very simple point. So if I want to talk about, again, about the bank, I would say track record of success, right? This idea, this name, this label is the same thing you're going to mention in your outline and repeat again in your summary, right? Once I provide that name, once I say the first idea I'm going to talk about is our track record of success. Let me explain what that means. We have long experience in this industry. We've been here for X amount of years. We've done these things. We've learned from our mistakes. We have a diverse portfolio. I'm explaining logically why we have a long track record of success, right? Now, this logic is great. Everybody, human beings are logical. Well, most people anyway, are logical, and logic appeals to them. We want to be able to understand, to rationalize an idea. Human beings are very sensitive to contradictions or when people make leaps of logic. You're not explaining, you're not proving to me how A leads to B leads to C. You're just jumping from A to D. Now that doesn't make sense. That doesn't encourage people to believe in what you have said. Right? So it's very important to be logical. But logic's not enough. Logic is not tangible. Logic can't be touched. It can't be seen. It can't be felt. It's not real. So even though I understand what you're saying, I may not believe what you're saying. Right? Because it's not completely real. I can't touch it. I can't feel it. Which is why evidence is important. Right? So evidence here can be a fact, a statistic, an example, an authority. If you use a person that's famous, incredible, to explain something to them, or it could be personal experience, something that they believe is true if you have credibility with your audience. Right? So what that example does is it shows that your logic can be applied in the real world, that this has actually happened. Right? So, for example, you could say, our bank has a long track record because, as listed by, Money Magazine, from 1993 to 2003, we were the top ranked bank in terms of your average return of investment in this area or in this sector. Right? So if I trust that magazine, then that's real. The magazine did some work. This actually happened. You're not just talking about hot air. Okay? So each idea that you present to your audience should be structured that way. You have a name, and then you explain the idea, then provide some kind of evidence, right? So now we've reached a second tier of organization within your content. So the entire speech would flow. My opening, maybe I start the speech with a question. How many of you here are worried about your retirement? What are you going to do when you stop working? How are you going to pay for yourself and when you get sick? So today I'm going to talk to you about investments and why you should invest in our bank. There are three areas of my talk today. I'm going to talk about the long track record of my bank. I'm going to talk about the customer service. Finally, I'm going to talk about the additional benefits. Now, the first thing, the long track record of my bank. Now, we have a lot of experience in this sector. We've been here for over 50 years. We've got over that time, we've learned so many things from our mistakes. And we've realized that the key is having a diverse portfolio. And that has allowed us to have a consistent performance across the years. For example, Money Magazine rated us the #1 bank over the past 10 years from 1993 to 2003 for return of investments over the span of 5 years. Right? So we think we've definitely proven to you that we have a long track record of success. The second thing I'm going to talk about to you is our customer service. Now, we think customer service is important, etc., etc., etc. Give point of evidence. Third thing I'm going to talk to you today is our additional benefits. Explain those additional benefits, give proof of those additional benefits, and then summarize. So what have I done for you today? I've told you that thinking about your investment for retirement is important, and I've given you 3 reasons why you should do it in our bank. The long track record of success, excellent customer service, and finally the additional benefits. Then I close powerfully. So at the end, given the aging societies that most nations are faced with, you will reach a point where governments already today may not be able to pay your pensions. Right? People estimate that up to 30% of all pensions are going to expire, and you're not going to get enough to pay for yourself. So don't trust the government, don't trust someone else, trust yourself and trust us. Invest with us because we will invest in you. It's a little bit corny, but hey, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying really hard to make it work. But the point is for you to have a kind of powerful closing, right? So, again, quick opening, catch people's attention, emphasize, make a powerful first impression on your audience, outline the points that you're going to talk about, use the same names of your ideas, present your ideas in turn, highlight each one, have a nice sort of transition between ideas, summarize, emphasize the main parts of your points, repeat again the 3 names of your ideas, and then close. Close powerfully, close with pride. Now, there are a couple of examples you can view on the site, but the best example is the one that you are going to make when you practice this. So, practice.